Squid Game Season 1 was a huge event when that first came out, and a few years later, we now have Season 3, ending the show. So, how was this final season? And essentially, whatever your thoughts were on Season 2 are going to be your thoughts on Season 3, because they were written to be the same story. This was meant to be one big season. Season 2 and Season 3 were just meant to be Season 2 with more episodes. And it certainly does feel like that in the actual show, because it feels like Season 2. So whatever your thoughts were on Season 2 is going to be your thoughts on Season 3, because it was meant to be that way. This season wastes no time and picks up exactly where Season 2 left off. It hooks you in right away, and unlike Season 2 where we had 2 episodes before the game started, no, you do not get that here. The games start exactly when the show starts, picking up exactly where we left off. We never left in the first place. And everything set up in Season 2 is now officially paid off in this season. Moments that you don't want to be paid off and moments you want to be paid off, they're all paid off in this season. Because it's the final season, you kind of need to pay a lot of stuff off, and they certainly do that. A lot of moments are super impactful because of the payoff, because of all the setup to that moment, so that once you do finally get that payoff, it's exactly what you wanted. It feels satisfying that you finally got that payoff to a certain moment. We also get a fantastic ending to the show. It's the final season, you need a great ending, and they certainly did deliver on that great ending. It left you feeling satisfied, and the payoff I previously mentioned, that's in the ending. You feel like this journey for these 3 seasons have paid off by the end of it. It's the perfect ending to this show, and I'm glad the show ended this way, because it's such a great ending to the show that just fits everything we've been building up to. The season still keeps everything you liked about the show. The themes, the suspense, the games, it's all still here. The theme is still tackling grief. The suspense is still there for the characters you like during the actual games. And since we had more setup to certain characters, even more moments are more impactful because of that. Even more moments are suspenseful because of that. And the show kind of goes down a different route that you're probably not expecting, because the show is so good at always changing your expectations. You think one thing's going to go one way, but in reality it goes a completely different direction that you were expecting, but the show still makes it work. This season does that especially. There's a whole plot that just completely changes, because it's so good at always changing what you're expecting. And Season 3 does that especially. Just because they knew it was the last season, so they knew they had to mess with you a lot more. And when the big, impactful moments need to happen for like the payoff, the ending, the themes, the suspense, all of that, when they need to happen, when those moments need to hit, and the show makes sure that those moments hit. If I were to define the season one word, it's satisfied. You're satisfied by the end of the show where certain characters end up, where the show just ends. You're just satisfied by all of it. This 3-season journey was all worth it by the end. You don't feel cheated or anything, you feel satisfied, and that's exactly what the season delivers. That payoff, the impactful moments, all of it, all in this season. It just feels right. It feels like you watched the perfect ending of a season unfold. You're just satisfied by the end of the season. That feels worthy to end it all here. But real quick, if you want to help me reach my goal of 1K by the end of the year, consider subscribing. Let's continue. Now, this is easily the weakest season. There are many reasons for that. For one, it's rushed. Which is weird because this was originally going to be like 14 episodes in one season. That's longer than Season 1. Season 1 wasn't rushed at all. You should be fine. But these 2 seasons are tackling a lot more story than what Season 1 did. So, when you have more story, by Season 3, when all that payoff is happening to multiple different stories, you kind of need to answer all our questions that we have about the Squid Games itself before you end the show, so there's not any confusion by the end of it. Some moments that I wanted just to have extended out more for that impact and emotional punch, it feels just rushed over. And it feels like they could have done a lot more by the end for a final season. At least one episode could have filled in some more gaps that I wanted answered. More moments that I wanted to happen even more of. Extend some moments out. Because we do get all that payoff that we want, but some of that payoff is not as long as we want it to be. And especially since that this season is the end of the show, a lot of things are just left empty by the end. You get some things that returned from season 1, but you don't see a lot of it either. You get a lot of questions answered from season 1, but they're extremely brief. And it just feels rushed. Now everything could still feel rushed and empty because they're making a spin-off of the show, but you're ending this show. You need to end all the questions we have with the show in this show, not your spin-off. And I feel like some things just left unanswered or too rushed over. Now both B-plots with the guard and the boat both feel pointless. The one with the guard, we spent basically half of season 2 fleshing that out, and is continued on in this season. And by the end, you're just asking the question, why was that in there? That did not need to be in there. Now sure, there might be a few moments here and there that make up for a reason why that B-plot is actually in this season. But for all the setup that it had, and for the payoff that we actually do get, it feels completely pointless by the end. You could have easily cut it out and was just only in here to extend the episode length. It did not need to be in there. We could have used that time to actually flesh out and answer more questions. Instead, we're wasting time watching the story unfold that doesn't really connect to anything by the end. And for the boat storyline, I wouldn't say it's pointless, but by the end, all the build-up that we had for it, just for the ending that we got with it, makes you feel cheated. They could have done a whole lot more with it, and goes into my point of before, we need more questions answered and it was rushed. The boat, especially, was rushed over. And for all that setup that we had with that storyline, you could have done way more with the ending for that story. Just these two B-plots, I don't know why they're in here, and they needed more expansion on for them to actually matter into the story. Now this is a minor nitpick, but I can't really say what I'm talking about due to spoilers, but there's a certain something that has CGI and is very obvious as CGI. It's just very distracting every time we cut to that certain thing, just because it's so distracting with the CGI. Now, if you've seen the season, you might know what I'm talking about, but it's going to sound very vague right now. But when you actually watch the season, it will make more sense. But there's something that is CGI, and every time it cuts to it, you can tell it's CGI, and it's just disappointing that it just looks that fake. That's all I can really say right now. You can watch the season for yourself to piece together what I'm talking about, but something CGI, and it looks pretty fake every time we cut to it. And the season can feel different at moments from season 1. Part of that is the higher stakes because it's the last season, but a lot of that is still being rushed, choppy, and not fully finding its footing that season 1 had. I liked all the setup with season 2, but by the end, all the payoff that we did get with season 3 was not exactly the payoff that I would have 100% wanted. A lot of the B-plots go nowhere. Yes, it's a great ending, it's satisfying and all that, but a lot of things are rushed over. For the final season, I still have some questions that still need to be answered. Anyways, if you like this video, maybe leave those on the side notes to you too. Like, subscribe. See you guys next time. Goodbye.